Get your films on with the Blurs.
Once an idea has taken hold of the brain, it's almost impossible to eradicate.
Unpacking movies has never been more spot on, woke, fire, and just plain lit.
They are lit all the time.
So if you're unsure whether or not to plop down some cash for a film, check out the Blurs.
When a man with a 45 meets a man with a rifle, the man with a pistol is a dead man.
Brondo's got what plants crave.
It's got electrolyte.
You really only need to hang mean bastards. But mean bastards, you need to hang.
Don't say you weren't warned. Here's Brandon and Jeff.
Hello, welcome to episode 34 of the Film Blurs. I'm Brandon Norwood, aka Hero Protagonist, aka Papi Chulo, aka the Glizzy King. We're back, beefier, meatier, and the chili guy got extra meat and extra sloppy, aka Mr. Krusty. Yeah, I like it dry and rough and nasty.
Jesus Christ.
I like the chafing. I like to have to put Vaseline on afterwards.
Oh my.
AKA Ruff McGruff, still pulling rip and runs, still abolishing dare. AKA the true father of Joe's kids. Joe had a great Christmas. He did all the work. He cooked all the food, and we put him back in the closet.
What did he make?
He made wings. He made a spiraled ham. He made like some Italian dish. And then like after he's done cooking, I got the broom, started hitting him back on the back and saying, "Get back in the closet, you devil," and locked the door.
Oh man.
Oh, we gave him a little plate of food though before he went.
Okay, at least he got to taste what he cooked. Joe seems like he's a turducken type of dude.
You know, if he I'd be surprised if he could pull that off.
I'm just saying, it's like he seems greedy. So he put all three of the meats in there.
AKA B Wood the Magnificent. And I'm joined here by
I am Jeff Stewart, aka Uncle Jeffrey, aka He Who Remains, aka
Revengeman Button.
aka To Be Determined, aka this is the Film Blurs. All right, so what do we got coming up next?
All right, well, let's jump into Alex Garland's new movie that was announced over the weekend called Civil War. It's an action film done by Alex Garland. I mean, there's nothing else to say.
Right. So, I mean, it's not going to be an action film. So that's something to say. It's going to be heady as fuck, weird as shit, and it's probably going to be the best movie that comes out that year, or one of them.
And his new movie, before he goes into production on that, his new movie's coming out this year called Men, starring Jessie Buckley, real great actress. I'm excited to see it. It's a horror thriller.
Yeah, I mean, you see what he did with Ex Machina, you see what he did with Annihilation, which is vastly different from the book, but I mean, in a good way. It's a beautiful film. And there was like a lot of turmoil on that set, right? Not the set, but like...
it was between David Ellison and basically everybody who worked on that movie, because David Ellison, he thought he was getting like a straight sci-fi action thriller, and it was and it wasn't. You know what I'm saying? And everybody else is like, nah, fuck that. And the studio was backing David Ellison until Scott Rudin, before he fell, he used his clout and his power to be like, nah, fuck that. We're putting out his cut. This is the movie we set out to make. If you don't like it, don't fucking produce movies like this. And that's why you get the shit you do from David Ellison. That's why you get Snake Eyes. That's why you get the Mission Impossible movies. Like, the only good movies he makes is Mission Impossible. Why? Because that's Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise has final say on everything. Otherwise, like, everything this nigga touches... He's the head of Skydance, and Skydance is now moved to Apple from Paramount. So we will no longer be seeing Skydance Productions at Paramount Pictures, which is good because they need to move away from David Ellison. Shout out to his sister though, Megan Ellison, because Megan runs Annapurna.
Yeah, I mean, she's like the queen of indie. You know, like she's the queen of like giving a fuck.
How the fuck are they siblings though?
Well, I mean, you have a brother. Sometimes you converge and sometimes you diverge really, really hard on some shit.
Yo, listen, if I was Megan Ellison and Trey was David, I'd be like, yo, we are not related. Like, fuck out of here.
Well, I mean, business is business, right? I mean, if we learn anything from watching Succession, yeah, business is business, family is family, and sometimes sometimes they meet up, but most times they diverge.
So speaking of productions, let's move on to Netflix is going to shoot Red Notice 2 and 3 back to back. Ooh, man.
Yay! That is the best news I have heard in no, never. I can't muster.
If there is nothing else to review that week, I guess we're gonna have to, but otherwise, who gives a shit?
Right. I mean, you go back and listen to what we feel about Red Notice. It I can't even feign excitement. I know it's going to be more of the fucking same bullshit that we got from the first one. I wonder what the paydays are on this one, because
They're probably going to they got 20 a piece on the last one, so the next one they're going to have to get like 30, 40.
Right. So,
or probably maybe 25, maybe not that much, because Leo got paid 30 and they ain't at Leo level.
All right, and here's the thing: since there's no theatrical, right, for these movies, what do the back end deals look like?
I don't fucking know. I think that's why Leo got 30 up front, because his fee's 20 and Jen's fee's 20, and they both she got 25, he got 30, because there was no fucking theatrical run for well, there was, but it wasn't, strong.
Right, but do they even like give points for streaming? I don't even know how that works.
Yo, nigga, I don't know.
Like someone write in and tell us how that works.
Well,
someone in the know.
Speaking of streaming and theatrical, sticking with Netflix before we move into Apple, Netflix announced that Knives Out 2 will make the festival circuit this fall, starting with Venice in August, and will be circling around. Before October, it'll make a theatrical debut. Then sometime near Christmas, it'll be on Netflix.
How about that?
They're giving it a big theatrical push, like they did for Roma, because Roma was like their widest release. So hopefully they make a 70 millimeter print like they did for Roma and play it at the Draft House. Because Knives Out 2 and 3 are ones I will gladly go see in a theater.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for a good detective story, and Knives Out was surprising, but not surprising, knowing like the
Ryan's history,
but still, everyone kind of fucking killed it. It was one of those movies where you like you watch a detective movie, and for the most part, sometimes you know what's going to happen. Like, it's telegraphed. Like, you're like, all right, this is the guy. But Knives Out it actually did surprise me.
Ryan might be he's a great director, but to me, he might be one of the best working writers. Like, his scripts are always tight and well structured. So like,
right. Even the Brothers Bloom.
Yeah.
I really fucked with that movie.
Like, this nigga can write, and I asked him for writing advice, and he's given it to me, and it's been invaluable. So like, I'm excited. Like, this dude, even if he don't direct it, if he wrote it and gave it to somebody else, I'd watch it just because I know it's going to be sharp at least.
Right.
So the other streaming film is Martin Scorsese's $200 million Western, Killers of the Flower Moon, is going to do the same thing as Knives Out. It's going to hit the festival, get a theatrical run, and then a few months later will be on Apple TV Plus. And Apple TV is also going to give this a big push, like they did. What's the name of that shit? Tragedy of Macbeth, because Tragedy of Macbeth is the first movie to hit streaming that actually played in AMC and Regal theaters, which blows my mind.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm happy, because so that way more people can see a Scorsese film in a theater. Like, I can't wait for this movie.
Right, and we learned why part of the reason it cost $200 million is because of the lumber.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're in the worst timeline, and everything like that, and supply chain issues. So part of that $200 million is wood
Yeah.
for construction and everything like that. For set construction. So that's a little weird little tidbit. This pandemic is affecting everything, everywhere, even down to literally the nuts and the bolts.
Well, let's loop back to Paramount. Paramount has once again delayed Mission Impossible 7 and 8. They were supposed to, sorry, baby Tom Cruise. They were supposed to come out in 2020 sometime. Then they got pushed back. Like the first one was supposed to come out in September, next one in June. Now it got pushed back from September to July, I think. And then the 8th one comes out literally a whole last year later. Like, I don't even know if they finished shooting 8. I know they're done with 7, but 8's a question mark.
Right. And like, I feel bad for Tom Cruise with this, because I mean, I love the fucking series. Like, and also, like, this is his baby.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
this is his thing.
Yeah.
From top to bottom. And to have it pushed back yet again because of because we can't get our shit together.
Well, at least he still has Top Gun coming out in May, because that's another one that I kept getting kicked down the curb.
Look, I have seen the trailer for Maverick several times, and I still can't get excited for it.
Yeah, I'm just like, some of that shit's cool, but like, the original Top Gun is part of the holy trinity of cinematic caucasity, so it's hard for me to get excited for a sequel to that.
Right. I mean, it's like, it's what it is. Like, part of what made Top Gun awesome is because they use real, jets and shit like that, and what Tony Scott pulled off trying to get that fucking thing made. He was fired like what, 3 times off that movie.
I don't know. I didn't give a fuck about the production, man.
Right. But like, now with CGI and everything like that, like,
90% of that's real though, Jeff.
90% of it's real.
Yeah, they did real flying,
all right,
and shit like that.
All right. At least that's cool.
Like all those trick shots you see, that's for real.
All right. Well, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to that, let's move into Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers has some news. First off, let's start with something they're losing, or maybe Legendary. They got sick of what they did last year with the HBO Max shit, and it's just like, we're going to take our ball and go elsewhere. Legendary is producing a MonsterVerse TV series for Apple TV. It'll take place after Godzilla vs. Kong, and Godzilla will be the star of the show. Why isn't this going to HBO Max? I don't know. I also wish we were getting more movies instead.
Right. I could get excited for a MonsterVerse movie. I don't think I could get excited for a TV show.
Yeah, man, because these are the thing that makes these movies awesome is like they're 2 hours, maybe 2 hours, 2.5. You're in there, you have fun, and then you leave. Like, I don't know if I'd want to spend a continuous an hour every week.
Right. I don't want to spend like 8 to 12 hours discovering the mystery of Godzilla's blah 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 and how the MonsterVerse connects to Monarch, and I don't care.
Yeah, man. Just give us more movies like this. Start making more movies. Godzilla vs. Kong did gangbusters. Fucking make more movies. Nobody gives a fuck.
Right. And no one thought that could be pulled off. No one fucking thought that movie was as, quote, air quote, as good as it ended up being. It was a fun fucking movie.
I'll also say this. No offense to Apple. Looks like y'all produce top tier content, but very limited people have Apple TV Plus. And you know what? I'm not signing up for Apple TV Plus. Why? It's too many fucking streaming services, bro.
Right. I mean, I have Apple TV Plus. I don't know how I ended up with it. I think it was a package deal with my cell phone or some shit like that. But I wouldn't have, unless I wouldn't have gone out and got it on my own.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
exactly.
saying?
Exactly.
It was looped into some shit. It was like, all right, I got this shit now. Let me enjoy it. But yeah, I'm not gonna say, you know what? I really need Apple TV Plus.
Yeah, exactly.
But there's some good shit on there. There really is some really great content on there, but there's a lot of great content everywhere. I'm kind of bogged down.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's move on to Bong-Joon Ho is making his next movie at Warner Brothers. I don't know what type of budget it's gonna have, but it's cool. He's making a movie under a studio. This will be his first studio film because Snowpiercer was his first English language film, even though like 20 to 30% of it was still in Korean.
I mean, technically, wasn't that a studio film?
That was with the Weinsteins, bro.
Right? Yeah. So that was.
I don't count the Weinstein Company as a fucking studio. Especially since the budget wasn't that big.
Right. I gotcha.
So right, yeah,
so what's he making?
Plus, Bong had fucking trouble working with the Weinsteins.
Well, everyone has trouble working with the Weinsteins.
Like, yo, these niggas. That's why I'm glad they ain't around no more. But anyways, Bong's making a sci-fi thriller. It sounds insane. It's gonna star Robert Pattinson. So good for Robert Pattinson. My man's is working.
And I'm glad he was able to shake off the stink of Twilight. Because like no one took him seriously, when he was doing those Twilight movies and shit like that. And then he started like actually doing real movies and showing people he could actually act. And now he's fucking Batman. And I'm here for it.
Yo, Robert Pattinson, if it does happen and this nigga says, "Oh yeah, I'll do another Twilight," and they make it, I'll go see it. Just because I know these niggas are older now and they know what movie they're making.
Right.
So, I mean, speaking of Robert Pattinson, the Batman has officially clocked in at 3 hours.
And I'm fucking here for it, man. Like, I watched the new trailer. I watched the new trailer a couple of times, and it just looks hard as shit.
I'm excited for this movie, but I don't know if I want a 3-hour movie out the gate. Like, the Nolan trilogy built up to that 3 hours. You know what I'm saying? It earned it. Right. Like, this shit, we're starting out. This is the first of a trilogy, and we're starting off with a 3-hour joint. Like, god damn. And I know I sent this to you, Jeff. The first cut of it, the assembly, was 4 hours, and Warner Brothers wanted to put out an assembly cut. And I'm like, nobody releases an assembly cut, bro.
Wait, yeah, I don't understand like why they want to release the like.
Yeah.
But it's called an assembly cut. It's like, all right, we put together a movie. Now let's whittle it down and make it a film.
So, it seems like Warner Brothers really all they understand is Batman, because they did the same thing with The Dark Knight, where Nolan put together his assembly cut, and they're like, "Oh, so you want to put this out?" And he looked at him and was like, "No, are you fucking out of your minds?"
They're like, "It's Batman, it'll sell. Whatever we put out."
Oh, Jesus Christ. Well, the good news is there's a producer, I forget what producer it was, but he said, the goal that me and Matt and the entire creative team are trying to do is make a Batman trilogy better than what Christopher Nolan did. He's like, I swear to you guys up and down, this is the first detective story with Batman. We want to portray Batman, the broken detective. He's broken, he's angry, he's violent, and he is first and foremost a detective. I was like, all right.
Right. And that's what all of these other movies have forgotten. And they sort of hit on it in, The Dark Knight when he reassembled
Bullet, yeah, and starts doing his own investigation.
Yeah. Right. But he is known as the world's greatest detective. That's first and foremost. Foremost. He is the world's greatest detective, but we have not seen that outside of the comic books.
I'm glad noir's making a resurgence between this and Nightmare Alley. Like, we're getting noir storytelling back.
I mean, even to a lesser extent, like Reminiscence.
Yeah, well, that was a neo noir.
Yeah,
like I'm not mad at Reminiscence. Honestly, as okay and forgettable as that movie was, I'd rather have more shit like that than the movie we're going to talk about later, honestly.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, right.
Or Scream. I'd rather take more shit like that than another Scream.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get it. Like, at least try.
Yeah, that's all we're fucking
Just try.
asking.
Let's try.
Fuck, man. Why do you think we like Matrix so much? Why do you think we like the new Spider-Man so much? Motherfuckers cared.
They tried.
And they did something different.
Like, I'd rather them fail and do something different than like succeed at being boring.
Yes. That's why when people tell me they hate Reminiscence, I'm like, why? Yo, the fucking shit did something different. And it told a story. Don't matter how you like it. Like,
you gotta appreciate that they at least tried to do a neo-noir. And yeah, for the most part, I mean, it was forgettable but enjoyable.
Yeah. Plus, I'm not, how you gonna be mad at watching Tandy Newton, Hugh Jackman, and Rebecca Hall for 2 hours? And that movie's less than 2 hours, so less than 2 hours.
And let's not forget Cliff Curtis.
Yeah, well, Cliff Curtis was a slimy motherfucker. You look gross in that movie.
But I love anything with Cliff Curtis in it, man. I love it.
Well, yeah, I'm excited for the Batman. Not very excited for the runtime. I'm guessing WB understands they have something special because in addition to 2 sequels, we're getting 2 TV shows: the Gotham PD and the Penguin show.
Yeah, I mean, they're trying to. They're going into this with a plan, which for the most part they have not had with any of their other, movies in this. If it's not Batman, they don't fucking know how to deal with it.
And it's not rated R.
Batman, they got on lock.
Right. Again, it's not rated R because a couple of weeks ago it came out that it got its official rating. It's PG-13. PG-13 for a fuck ton of shit. Also, real quick, I would like to say her name was Leslie Grace, not Rose Leslie. Leslie Grace is Batgirl. Guarantee you that shit's going to theaters still.
Yeah.
No way that's going to be a HBO Max movie.
Right. Yeah, no. Like the days of that experiment failed.
No. This is shit that like they announced shit strictly for HBO Max.
Right, but this is not going to HBO Max. Like they know their Batman money and their Batverse money is in theaters.
Bro, and I guarantee you Supergirl's not going to HBO Max either.
Okay, well there you go.
Oh.
You heard it first. Prediction here first.
Oh, man, I mean, come on, dude. These are 2 characters you guys are introducing in The Flash, and they're going to pop up in these other movies that you're putting out in theaters. Why the fuck would you put those on HBO Max then?
Yeah, I mean, it's...
Yeah, so... All right, Jeff, what have you watched lately?
What you watching? What you watching? I said what you watching? What you watching?
What are you watching?
What have I watched lately? So I watched New Order last week. I saw the trailer for New Order in front of the last Purge movie. All right. It's one of those movies where it's fantastic. I'm glad I watched it, but I never have to see that shit again. Just because it was so fucking it's a rough watch. It is a real fucking rough watch. So the story of New Order is it takes place in Mexico. The poor people finally have had enough, and so they start rioting. The riots all over the country spill over into a rich person's wedding. And because of happenstance and shit like that, the bride gets separated, the family gets murdered, yada 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 yada. And it's a real fucking just it's a heartbreaker. It's a real gut punch, because it shows that no matter how much you fight the power will always kind of win. and it really is a statement on the corrupt government of Mexico. I'm not Mexican. I've never been to Mexico, but I know enough to know that fundamentally that the government is it's rife with sort of the sort of corruption, and that kind of spills over into this into this rioting situation and stuff like that. It was directed by Michelle Franco.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I'm gonna watch it because I heard this dude's new movie's coming out soon called Sundown. I heard that's amazing. Has Tim Roth in it.
Okay. Oh, really? Word? All right. Yep, I'm pulling it up right now. But yeah, this is fucking. It's in the vein to me of Requiem for a Dream, where it's an amazing movie, and it's poetic, it's beautiful and stuff like that, but it just leaves you dirty and feeling horrible about like the situation. So New Order, definitely check it out, and I appreciate that they packed as much as they did into a running time of about an hour and a half. Like I miss the days of hour and a half movies.
Same.
And honestly, I was on Netflix the other day, and they have a subcategory called 90-minute movies.
Because that's how rare that shit has gotten now.
Right? And it's just like, oh, okay, word, this is where we are now. You got to subcategory it. But yeah, no. So the New Order it is a really, really, really passionate, poignant, beautiful film. But it is a rough fucking watch. All right. So after that, I've spent the last couple of weeks going back because I don't want to watch anything new. You ever have one of those moods where you just like, I want to go back and re-examine and rewatch shit I watched years ago? Yeah. So that's where I was this past week. And I rewatched, give me a second, this whole entire list. Jon Favreau's, I guess it was his second directorial movie, Made.
Oh no, that's his directorial debut because Doug Liman did Swingers.
He wrote Swingers.
Right, Doug Liman directed it.
Right. So this is his directorial debut, Made. Though. Yo, fucking, I forgot how goddamn good this movie is.
Yeah, that shit's hilarious.
Yeah, so it's on HBO Max, and so the story of Made, for those of you who don't know, Vince Vaughn and Jon Favreau play some low-level criminals from LA who get sent to New York by their boss under mysterious sort of instructions, and they run into like a whole bunch of fucking misadventures. All of it kind of orchestrated by one Sean P. Diddy Combs playing Sean P. Diddy Combs. And it's absolutely fucking hilarious. It is definitely an early 2000s movie. It's kind of problematic and stuff like that, but the acting's on point. Vince Vaughn is being Vince Vaughn in it. I mean, you know Vince Vaughn, he's playing the smooth talking fucking wise ass character. But yeah. So I really, really enjoyed rewatching Made, and honestly, I think it's better than Oh yeah, Swingers.
I always thought that.
100%.
I thought Swingers was a good
100%
movie, but Made was better because it was funnier.
Right. So if you get a chance, watch fucking Made before it leaves. All right, so that is that movie, and we're going on to. I don't know did we talk about this? Did I talk about this in a previous episode? The Hunt.
The movie where like conservatives are being hunted.
Yeah.
No, that was
we
like the
brought that
last
up?
movie I saw in theaters before the shutdown, though.
Right, right. So I saw it, like, I got a screener during shutdown of The Hunt. It was written by Damon Lindelof, and it stars Betty Gilpin, and it is fucking really, really, really good. And I had forgot, like, came out 2 years ago, so my time's a construct. So 2 years ago might as well have been 10 years
Jesus
ago.
Christ,
And
it's
that's
been
why
2 years, bro,
yeah.
and the nightmare still continues.
Right, right. Yeah. So that's why I was like, oh yeah, The Hunt, that just came out. I was like, oh no, it came out 2 fucking years ago.
Oh fuck!
I was like, so I decided I rewatched The Hunt, and the story is that a whole bunch of fucking internet trolls get kidnapped and land on the manor, and they are hunted by a bunch of ultra leftists, rich ultra leftists. And Betty Gilpin plays the bitch who shouldn't be there,
Yes.
and the bitch they don't want there, and she's kicking ass and taking names. It is fucking violent as shit. It's hilarious. It's pretty much, I think, Lindelof's clap back to the Trump administration.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it has the greatest children's story ever recited in it. I don't want to ruin it for you, but I'm just gonna say the Jackrabbit always wins. The Jackrabbit always wins, and if you watch The Hunt, you'll know what that means. So give that a watch if you can, or don't. I don't care. And then another movie that I went back to was a movie called Cashback that came out somewhere in like 2005. And I remember really loving this movie when it first came out. I was like, oh my God, as a tortured artist who, feels romantic feelings so deeply, this movie calls to me. Now, several years later, going back to it, it's style over substance. This movie, Cashback. So this is the story of an artist who breaks up with his girlfriend, gets insomnia, and he decides to get a job overnight at a convenience at a supermarket, a 24-hour supermarket. And he meets a cast of characters and shit like that, and he develops this ability to freeze time. That's how he deals with the mundanity of working overnight. So he freezes time in his mind. I don't know if it's whatever. And so he's able to examine and capture and just really look at life as a still life painting. And it's an interesting concept. It's beautifully shot. There's just so much fucking narration in it. Like half the movie is fucking narrated, and I guess 25-year-old me was like, all right, well, this is cool, it's just getting to the point. I understand the what the character is thinking and everything like that. 40-year-old me is like, oh, this is fucking lazy filmmaking. Like, there in the history of cinema, there's only been like 5 good examples of narration throughout a movie, like this. And so that's all I gotta say about this. If you want an abundance of nudity, this movie's for you. If you want a really cool early 2000s chill out album soundtrack, this movie's got it for you. It's shot like it was, I don't know who the DP is, but it looks like they were trying to ape what Matthew Vaughn did in Layer Cake. Right? So it's like the romantic drama version of Layer Cake. at least
Gotcha.
stylistically. You know, so that's Cashback. It's on Hulu. I mean, someone may watch and love it. It's one of those movies where the older you get, the more annoying it seems. I can imagine I can imagine 25-year-old me loving this, and then now it's like, oh, this is stupid, but beautiful. It's beautifully shot, just overwhelming. So if you haven't caught up on the Righteous Gemstones out there, do so.
Did you see last
It
night's
is.
episode?
I didn't see last night's episode. I'm going to watch that this week. But this fucking show it gets better episode by episode. And I'm in love with the whole entire Danny McBride, South Carolina sort of group, the vice principals, Foot Fist Way, that type of shit. But this is peak Danny McBride. This is peak everybody. It's hilarious, and because I grew up around religious people, it hits even harder because it's like, yeah, I know these motherfuckers. These people actually exist in real life. So if you have HBO, go and watch that shit because it's awesome. All right, and that's pretty much it. What I've been watching. All I can remember.
Well, I'll pick up from where you left off. Righteous Gemstones. The shit is hilarious. Last night's episodes of House of Cards, and oh boy.
Yeah? Oh shit! I can't wait to watch it.
Woo! I'm interested to see what's gonna happen next.
Yeah, this is only episode 4,
it's
right?
a big episode.
Wait.
Piggybacking off of Righteous Gemstones, because they aired the same night as Euphoria, and it's been 3 years since the first season aired, because the first season aired in 2019. Yeah,
really?
Yeah, I know. It don't seem that long ago, but goddamn, yeah.
Jesus Christ! All right.
Season 1's pretty crazy. Season 2 is fucking 10 times crazier. Like, I can't believe HBO is letting them get away with doing this shit. This show needs to be called Rue, Bitch Go Back to Rehab. Because this bitch needs to go back to rehab. Like, dog, the writers gave her everything she wanted. She has Jules, who she should not be dating, because if you've seen the last season and the 2 specials that they did during quarantine, you'll understand why it is, this is just a ticking time bomb waiting to happen. And 2, Rue's back on drugs, and she's doing all the drugs. Like, all the drugs.
Okay.
And she's going to AA meetings, her AA meetings, all doped out, dog. And her sponsor's looking at her like, what is this bitch doing? To the point where, like, he had to curse her out, and he's like, yo, listen, if you keep being this way, I'm going to drop you as a sponsor, and we're cutting ties forever. And she's like, oh, what are you going to do? Hit me? And I was just like, yo, this fucking cunt.
So what? Oh, shit.
Yo, no, that's not funny, yo. Like, this dude is literally, like, putting up with your shit and trying to help you get your shit together. After you're in rehab once, didn't tell your mother when he should have that you're back on drugs. Because he straight up told her, he's like, yo, I'm a 55-year-old crackhead and I just drove you home. It'd be irresponsible for me not to tell your mom that I drove you home.
Right, but I mean, that's addiction for you, man. Like, that's. I mean, I don't want to get into it, but people who are this does not seem like, I know it seems like it's fanciful and everything like that, but it's not. I've heard and witnessed stories, man. This is true.
Yeah, Rue. So either this show, because this is the second season, so I could see this show going on like 3, 4, 5 seasons, 5 at most. This show's either going to end with Rue self-destructing or she's going to die. Like,
I mean, isn't dying the ultimate self
And
destruction?
fucking,
right
I
there?
mean, she's going
I
to
mean,
her
how?
drug dealer supplier for shit now. Like, she came up with a plan to get
Oh,
free drugs, and now she's like $50,000 in debt to a supplier who calmly told her, Rue, if I don't get my money, I will send you to people who will cut you up into little pieces and feed you to my dogs. And she starts laughing. She's like, no, I'm serious. This is why I'm not a teacher anymore. I got fired. Yeah.
oh wow! All right. So this season's
Yeah,
starting
man.
off
We're
hard.
there. Last
Okay.
night was episode 4. It's a lot going on. I mean, Nate got beat up by Fezco finally. I'm so glad Nate got fucking the shit kicked out of him after that first season. Shout out to Fezco. He's the realest character on the show. He's a drug dealer. And his brother, his brother is not really his brother, but it is his brother. That's his muscle. He's a 10-year-old boy. That's his muscle. He was on last night's episode, he was pistol whipping the shit out of Nate's dad. I was like, yo. Yeah, this little 10-year-old boy was pistol whipping the fuck out of this grown ass man.
Hey, fucking who's gonna kill who's gonna beat up a little kid, but also who's gonna tell anybody that I got my ass whooped by a 10-year-old?
Yeah. Everybody on that show's a mess, man. Everybody except for Fezco. Fezco's the only one who has it together, and he's a fucking drug dealer who got put into the game by his grandma.
I mean, that's honestly all that sounds like real shit.
Yo,
that sounds
watch
like
it, yo.
real shit.
Euphoria, a fucking great show. It's crazy. All right.
That's
TV. Moving on to movies. I yesterday went to the Alamo Draft House to see the extended version of The Return of the King. I have now seen every version of the Middle Earth movies in the theater.
Now, how long is the extended version?
4.5.
Woo! God damn!
Motherfuckers were
damn.
clapping, cheering, all types of shit. Lady next to me was wiping tears out her eyes and shit.
Oh, all right. Well, I mean,
yeah.
Okay. I mean, it's. Hey, I'm never gonna yuck someone else's
Yo.
yum if you're into that, but I mean,
look, man.
I mean, I love the Lord of the Rings trilogy, but I don't think after sitting in a theater for 4.5 hours, I would cry. Like it was not that emotionally resonant to me.
I could see how it is for people, and for cold-hearted bastards like me, I'm just like, oh man, this is a great movie.
Yeah, it's like, all right, it's cool.
I was like,
they did their thing.
I'm glad it won Best Picture because Fellowship definitely deserved it.
Right.
But you know.
So what did they add? 4.5 hours? Jesus Christ! What did they add?
A lot. It's a lot, man. I prefer the extended cut to the original cut because everything's a lot more fleshed out. Like there's more fighting, there's more character work. Same with Two Towers. I like the extended cut better, but like for Fellowship, it's always the theatrical cut over the extended. Like the extended is great, but like the only time I've seen these extended cuts and it made it worse was for that third Hobbit movie because they made a R-rated Hobbit movie for no fucking reason. Added in all this CG gore and blood. I was like,
I told you, I refuse to watch those Hobbit movies.
I'll say this: the extended versions of those first two actually make them good, but they still got their problems. You know what I mean? Still got their problems.
Right.
So yeah, rewatched. Yes, my brother hadn't seen it since I took him to a theater since he was 10 years old because he was 10. I took him to see this in the theater. Just like when he was 12, I took him to see Zodiac.
Fucking downright negligent. Fucking negligent older brother.
I was in high school, dog. I ain't give a fuck.
Still.
Yeah.
Right,
I remember,
so
listen, I remember walking into the theater with my brother and all those people looked straight up mad that we were in there.
Yeah, I mean, I would be too. It's like you were traumatizing this fucking little kid. Look at you with a smile on your face. I see it. It's like, I got him. I got him.
He's a cinephile now, yo.
He's like, little
Yeah.
motherfucker's got to learn.
We watched Master and Commander. I took him when he was 10. See Master and Commander.
Okay.
Yeah, it
All
still
right.
holds up. I saw it early in lockdown when we first started doing this podcast, and then he saw it again for the first time yesterday. He's like, damn, this still holds up. I was like, yeah. He's like, I could have swore this movie was like 3 hours, not 2. I was like, yeah, I told you it was short, and it moves fast.
Right.
Also, this shit should not have
Right.
been PG-13. There's mad gore in this shit.
Early
Yeah, little fucking
2000s,
kid get his arm cut off
PG-13.
due to an injury.
Yeah, weren't we talking about this in an earlier episode? They were supposed to, like, aren't they trying to revise?
Yeah, like a
this
TV
series?
show, like a young. I don't know if it's a
Right.
TV show or a movie, but they're doing young versions of these characters. Where I'm like, yo, you guys had fucking 3 decades to make this a franchise with Russell Crowe and Paul Bettany. Like, this motherfucker was nominated for 13 Academy Awards, bro. And honestly, it lost because Return of the King won everything. And I'm just like, that's why Fellowship should have swept everything. And when it came to this one,
Right,
this
right.
one could have swept it all that year. I get the
Right,
logic
right.
behind that, though, because you don't want to give all the awards to the first movie and then the other 2 are like bum pieces.
Or like,
But
right.
come on. There's no way he was gonna miss. How are you gonna watch that first one and be like, oh, these next 2 are gonna be bum pieces? All right, and the last thing I'll get into that I watched this morning. It was on Amazon, a movie that was originally supposed to come out in theaters, and now I see why Sony was like, here, Amazon, we'll gladly take fucking $30 million from you for this fucking shit and get some back end profits from streaming. Hotel Transylvania 4, Transformania.
Yeah. Tell me
Why bother?
Tell me about it.
Why bother? Like,
Oh, wow.
This is
that-
like, even Adam Sandler's not even doing the voice of Dracula in this, so why bother?
Is he listed as
no.
a producer or anything like that?
No.
Is he making any kind of
Like,
money off it?
Gendy's an
No?
executive producer. Like, Gendy has
Right,
nothing to do
right.
with this, and it's clear because this shit, yeah, fucking let this series die. So before we move into trailer talk, just want to give a quick RIP to Louie Anderson and Meatloaf.
Right? Everybody's fucking just
Yo, man, I
leaving
thought
us.
Louie Anderson was eternal because that dude was just always there. Like, you look over there, he was doing something, just chilling, doing his own lane, being funny.
Right, and like doing baskets and shit
Like,
like that.
there was a story he shared about him and Eddie where he was like, yeah, Eddie walked into this restaurant that I was in, and he had like 8-10 guys with him because it's Eddie. And I told the waiter, I was like, yo, I'm going to pay for his bill and do not tell him until after I leave. And Eddie caught up with him later and said, why'd you do that, man? That was too nice of you to do. He's like, man, I'm from the Midwest. I'm a Midwestern man. That's what I do. I was like, damn,
shit.
that's a great story to remember Louie Anderson by.
Right.
And also Meatloaf was
Right,
cool,
'cause, like-
man. I know white people's favorite song about losing their virginity is Confession on the Dashboard Lights. Like, I've heard that song way too many times.
Yeah, I mean, I know more about him as an actor than I do a musician, and his name is Robert Paulson.
Yeah, he was in Fight Club.
you know?
He was in that movie with Kurt Russell where he was the villain.
What was it? Oh, the
Yeah,
one with
was it
truck driver,
Breakdown?
right? It was Breakdown. That movie was fucking. I
That
gotta go
shit's
back
on
and watch
Hulu,
that
nigga.
shit. That shit was fucking hard.
Yeah, Hulu got a better selection
Yeah,
of
that shit was
movies
hard
than
as fuck.
fucking Netflix, bro. Netflix don't got shit.
Right? Like, and the suggestions
Yes.
are better on
Yes.
Hulu, right?
Yes.
Like it keeps on trying to get me to watch Assassination Nation. So I think I'm gonna watch that for next week.
No, you don't have to watch that. It's all right.
Oh yeah? Oh, that's all right. All right.
Yeah, before we move on though, real quick, because I also forgot to talk about this in my TV little portion. Besides Boba Fett being meh, and I agree with a tweet I sent you, and I'm gonna pull up this tweet because it basically sums my feelings on the show overall. Our friend of the show who's been on the show, Mr. Eric Vespi, he tweeted out, I'm Mr. Stick in the Mud on this Boba Fett show. Cool moments here or there, but it's so monotonous and lacks even a hint of personality. And it's true. Shit's boring. It sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I keep forgetting to watch Boba Fett. It's like I think I'm 2 episodes behind. I don't care enough.
Yeah, they're gonna
to,
bring in
like,
the Mandalorian now.
make it appointment viewing.
They're bringing in Din
Was that?
Djarin because
Oh,
they
are
need
they?
help.
Yeah, all right.
And I was just like, of course, because now it's like Marvel, where everything and his fucking mom has to connect somehow.
Right. It's a whole entire fucking galaxy far, far, far away. Some of these characters can theoretically never
Yes,
see one
yes.
another.
Yes, yes,
You know? Don't even know the stories of some of
yes.
these
Like,
other
there's no need for them to
motherfuckers.
bring back the Mandalorian. Period. Like, there's no reason for him to be on this show.
Right.
If that was the case, I would
You know,
rather
like,
have fucking a 3rd season of his show right now than watching this shit.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's. I was when I first heard about this show, right after the end of Mandalorian season 2, I was like, all right, cool, whatever. Now they're just gonna just milk that cow fucking
You were
dry.
right, because I was cautiously optimistic and like, yo, this honestly, the first 3 episodes could have been one fucking episode. Like, they could have easily whittled that story down to one fucking episode.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't even know what's going on. Is he still with the Sand People? Is he
Oh,
still
we've
with the
concluded. The
Tusken Raiders
flashbacks are
in
done.
this show?
They're finally
Oh,
done in
flashbacks are
this
done?
episode. Episode 4, they finally finished the flashbacks. I'll let you discover that shit.
All right, cool. Because the flashbacks were actually
Really?
the
Because
only thing that kept
I
me
was
interested.
fucking nodding out. I could give a fuck less. It killed the momentum of that show. We'd start in the present, and then they'd always flash back to how he got to where he was on the Mandalorian. I'm just like, fucking cares.
Yeah, I mean, I just like the Tusken Raiders. I like the fact that they, instead of just the racist incarnation of Arabs that they've been for the last 40 years, they're actually getting a culture. They're getting their
Shout out to
screen time.
Thundercat. He
But,
made his acting debut in the 4th episode of Boba Fett. It was weird.
word?
It was jarring. The music was fucking weird, glitchy EDM for some reason, but whatever.
Alright, well,
So the show I really wanted to talk about real quick was And Just Like That. This fucking Sex in the City shit.
Is it over? Is it
We
over
got
yet?
2 episodes left. So after this week's episode, or last week's, or however the fuck you want to say, episode 7. Or no, that was episode 8, because episode 9's this week and then episode 10's next week. So 2 episodes left. Bro, we are recycling a storyline from the first movie where Steve cheated on Miranda. Now it's Miranda cheating on Steve. It didn't feel right. It makes sense that Miranda would do it, but it doesn't make sense. It didn't make sense in the first movie that Steve did it. And now, like,
Right.
I'm just like, why are we recycling this fucking storyline? I was just like,
Because I figured people aren't like the people can't people's memory.
no.
aren't that
People,
long.
listen. Motherfuckers who are fans of shit, they remember the basic lore and the basic story. Maybe not every little intricate detail, but you remember shit. This shit is shameful, man. Like, Miranda, like, Steve tells Miranda, like, yo, it hasn't been a picnic. Like, their relationship hasn't been a picnic, because basically ever since they met, Miranda's been beating him down about, like, how he needs to improve himself and shit like that. My man was happy being a bartender. It's crazy to me that the Sex and the City movie is where Miranda was pissed off the whole movie that Steve cheated on her because she was too busy working, being a lawyer, for them to have sex. That's why he cheated. And now we're supposed to feel bad for her because Steve is just older now and just doesn't really want to have sex. He just wants the companionship from his wife.
Right.
And he has to tell her, like, yo, that's marriage. Like, we sit here, we watch movies, we take care of our kid, we love each other. May not be as physical as you wanted, but that's married life. And I'm just like, This bitch told
Right. It's being
fucking
old.
Carrie in the second movie that her going home to Big and watching old movies with Big was married life. So it's weird to me that this is now a storyline and this fucking new shit where I'm just like, bitch, you just told somebody else. You cheated on your husband, cheated on you. Now you're doing the same. Like it is fucking wild to me. And she's cheating on Steve with Che Diaz. And for those of you who do not know, Che Diaz is played by Sarah Ramirez, and she is non-binary, so I will start referring to Che as them. But yes,
Is that the podcast host?
yes,
Oh, wow.
yes. Bro, she's leaving Steve for Che, and you could already tell where this is gonna go.
Right. Okay. Because I know they had that interaction. At
Yeah,
the funeral,
they
stuff
hooked
like
up in
that.
Carrie's
Oh,
apartment while Carrie needed help using the bathroom.
thank you.
She
See,
peed herself in bed while Miranda got drunk, smoked weed, and got finger fucked by Shay.
It seems ham-fisted. It seems like they're just like, all right, let's just let's throw in some LGBTQ.
And this is what blows my
stuff.
mind, man. I was like, the dude who is the showrunner on this, who was the showrunner for the previous show after Darren Star left, who wrote and directed the previous two movies, this motherfucker's gay. My man, you seem to be writing progressive characters and progressive storylines, and I'm putting air quotes there. Jeff can see I'm doing air quotes. You're doing all this quote unquote progressive shit as if you're like a straight dude from the 90s. Like, this feels like some dude's like, oh, well, let's have Miranda become a lesbian and cheat on her husband, and then we can, I don't know, how about we have her daughter becomes not non-binary, and we could have her struggle with her Asian daughter because her Asian daughter finds some stuff, and it's just written so bad and so ham-fisted.
And I get that Cynthia Nixon
she's lesbian in real life.
Is lesbian in real life, and like she wants her story being told, but this just seems real.
It's out of character too.
Ham-fisted, like they're. Right.
Yes.
There's no nuance to it.
None of these, it feels like it's being shoved down your throat rather than it feels organic. Like when Samantha dated the black dude, and I think it was season 2 or 3, that felt organic. And that episode told a really good story about an interracial relationship. This shit here is just, everything about it is so ill-informed and ill-advised. Like, it feels like it's just trying way too fucking hard. Yeah,
it's trying too hard to be relevant.
This got to be it, bro. Like, there's no way this shit survives. Like, even like you, nobody likes this. Nobody fucking likes this, bro. You would have thought like the Sex and the City fandom, maybe they might embrace it, and even they're like, "Yo, fuck this shit, bro." The fans are the one who are pointing out the problems.
Oh shit! All right, well there you go. Fucking there you go. I mean, but we'll see. I mean, worse things.
2 episodes left, and I'm telling you, man. After this last episode, I'm done. There was no reason for them to kill off Big. Like, they have done nothing with Carrie being a widow, other than having her mope around.
And that's what I thought was going to happen. Like when they killed off. Like, spoiler alert for fucking whatever. When they killed off Big. All right, is this going to be time for Carrie to grow? And like find herself and find her like
see who is she as a 56-year-old woman?
Right.
No.
Right. None of that.
No, not really. She makes a new friend, and her friend's cool. Best character on this revival named Seema or Rava. I forget what her name is, but very cool character. But other than that, it's just like, well, bro, who gives a shit? Like all this, I'm just like, who gives a fuck, bro? Like this shit is just.
You know what? It is what it is. They have the IP.
I see why this is on HBO Max and not on HBO proper. Why this is an HBO Max original. Because if you put this on HBO for people who still have cable and people who still love Sex and the City, oh man, this would be a firestorm.
I mean, I didn't even realize
Yeah.
that people still had HBO.
So,
Yeah, I
all
thought it
right.
was just It was
Well,
just a
let's move into
match.
trailer talk.
Roll camera and action.
It's time for some trailer talk.
So let's
Right.
get into our first trailer, which is Ty West's X.
Right, and what was it that I said when you sent this to me? There's no way that the actual movie can be as good
That
as the
trailer
trailer
was
looks.
fucking phenomenal. Like that yo, that made me mad that
Right.
wasn't one of the trailers for Grindhouse.
Right? It's gonna be A24. It's gonna be weird. It's gonna make a hard right turn, but like I don't know if I have faith in Ty West to pull this off. I was a big Ty West hater for for the beginning of his career, and then he turned me around with The Sacrament and with In the Valley of Violence. But I don't
Yeah,
know.
In the
I don't know
Valley
if
of
I have faith in
Violence was
this.
a very good Western. And you know what, man? I'm not I'll give every movie its fair shake in court. You know what I mean? It could be good. So that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping it's a good movie. I love Mia Goth. I love Brittany Snow. I love Scott Mescudi, aka
Kid
Kid
Cudi.
Cudi. Who else is in this motherfucker? Little Latina from Scream. I don't
That's
know
what
her
we're gonna
name,
call her
bro.
from now on. Little Latina from Scream.
All
I
right, well,
don't
there
care
you
to know
go.
her name. Like she's got to bring something better
She has a good
for me
screen
to know her
presence.
name.
Just that's the first and only thing I've seen her in. So
Right. But yeah, X. It looks like a horror movie set in
where they're
the
shooting a porn
70s.
and things go wrong.
Shooting. Yeah. So it looks really interesting. Like I said, there is no way that the movie is going to actually live up to what they showed us in the trailer, because the trailer looks
So
fucking
we'll
amazing.
move into our next trailer. Moon Knight, scored by a slowed down version of Kid Cudi's Day and Night. If for those of you who know Moon Knight, you know he's a violent, crazy character because he is schizophrenic and has multiple personalities. And one of those is this ancient Egyptian god who gives him superpowers to fight crime, and he kills people violently.
Right. I don't know if I buy Oscar Isaac's British accent.
I see that's not the problem for me. My problem is this is on Disney Plus. It's a Marvel Studios thing, and I just don't trust either one of them to do the character justice just because they're afraid to get adult.
Right. I mean, it looks cinematic, but like all of the trailers for all of the shows have looked cinematic. But of everything, this looks like
Yeah.
well, this
Yep.
should have been a movie.
Co-starring
To me.
Ethan Hawke. Ethan Hawke's the bad guy.
Yep. And let's R.I.P. Gaspard
Yeah.
Uel.
In a skiing
He
accident.
died. He's doing some white people shit.
Sonny Bono'd.
Yeah.
Skibbity boo bop with Christopher Reeves.
I don't mean
Sonny
to laugh at
Bono
the guys
skis
that-
horses and hitting some trees. That was from Eminem.
Oh shit!
That was Eminem. Who knew?
Look, I don't mean to make. We're not making light of his death. It's just like white people, stop doing shit that will kill you, like jumping out of helicopters and skiing, or just strapping planks on your feet and going down mountains.
Especially heavily mountains that have heavy tree areas or steep cliffs.
Right. It's like we love you, white people. We care for you. Don't die doing stupid shit.
Hey. Also, shout out to M for those bars.
Yeah, there you go. That's the first time someone's mentioned M.
8
in
Mile's
while,
turning 20 this year in November. Yeah.
Is it?
Born in
Jesus
June,
fucking
the Born
Christ.
Identity will be 20.
Oh my god.
Yeah, nigga. Yeah, I remember seeing both of those in theaters, bro. Yeah.
Oh fuck me.
Back when they had people guarding the theater to make sure you weren't sneaking into R-rated movies. No, they don't.
And now they don't.
You know how many times I pulled to the security to AMC employee working. I was like, yeah, man, I'm fucking 17. I just forgot my wallet. I didn't drive here, man. My boy drove here, and he's already inside. And he'd be like, all right, you could go in. You could go in.
Yeah, now there's like 4-year-olds just
Yeah,
wandering
yeah.
the
Because
theater.
who gives a fuck?
It was like just yeah, it's the
So,
worst timeline.
yeah, Moon Knight.
I mean, Moon Knight. I mean, look, I mean, I'm not excited for it, but I don't hate it. I don't hate what I saw. It's just like, all right, whatever.
It is, yeah, man. I don't know. I don't know, man. Like, I'm excited to see Doctor Strange, and like that's about it. Like, I don't know.
Right.
We're getting the most Marvel
Yeah.
shit this year. I think 11 projects between streaming and
Really?
theatrical. And you know what? This shit has just burnt me out, man. Like,
Can we get the Encanto
Something.
universe? Can we get some?
oh,
like,
speaking
like-
of, because I forgot to mention this in the lobby. Now that we're talking about Disney, I hate how Disney is treating Pixar as it's streaming as Disney Plus content now. Because Turning Red got
Oh,
pulled
yeah.
from
Oh, that's
theaters
right,
and is
that's
now
right,
going
that's
to
right,
Disney
yeah.
Plus, and that was one I was actually looking forward to seeing in the theater. I'm like, well, fuck, man. Like, if I was working at Pixar right now, I'd be like, yo, why the fuck are we making this shit? I mean,
Right,
Lightyear's
right.
still coming out in the theater for now, and Lightyear looks hard as
Right.
fuck. Like, but who knows? Who knows? They might just be like, yeah, put that shit on Disney Plus too.
Unless Disney knows
No,
something we
come
don't.
They make they're making dumbass
All right, so-
decisions for profits. Profits aren't even helping them because they forget everybody and their mom who has Disney Plus has Disney Plus. So everybody else is just sharing passwords now. So
Right. They're gonna start.
Yeah,
They're gonna start
doubt it.
locking that down soon too.
all right, let's
Yeah,
move
we'll
into
see.
our main review.
All right.
And now, the moment you've been waiting for. The Film Blurts feature film review.
Stop giving fucking Simon Kinberg money. Stop letting him make shit. Stop letting him write shit. And this is his second time as a director. Let it be his last.
I second that motion. This movie, the 355,
It's a January movie.
It's a January movie, but like it is. I think this wins the Snake Eye Award for this year. I think that we get rid of the Snake Eyes Award, and now for 2022, it's the 355 Award for
This
horrible
is
movie.
so flavorless, has no personality. Like, if you told me as a filmmaker, hey, you're going to make a movie with Diane Kruger, Jessica Chastain, Bing Bing, Penelope Cruz, and Lupita Nyong'o. Like, you're getting all these great actresses, and you're gonna make an action spy thriller. I'd lose my fucking mind. I'd be like, word. All right, listen, I got something for you, ladies. And like, yo, for those of you who don't know, I remember when this was first announced at Cannes because they were looking for a financer at Cannes. It was a star-studded female action movie called The 355, and I was like, oh, fuck, I saw the cast. Jessica Chastain was front and center. Like, yeah, we're going to put this together. We're going to find a financer. I was like, fuck yeah. Marion Cotillard was part of the cast at the time. I was like, woo, this shit can't miss. 2 months later, went to Toronto
Banger.
after Cannes, and they were like, yeah, Simon Kinberg is going to write and direct it. We're still looking for funding. And I'm like, oh, girls, no, girls, what are you doing, girls? Jessica, did you not learn your lesson from Dark Phoenix? Girl.
This movie, I don't even want to get microscopic with it because it's just, look, it's none of them are Charlie Baltimore. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think Charlie Baltimore and The Long Kiss Goodnight is the pinnacle of bad bitches in cinema. And this just seemed
Yes.
lazy, boring, like no. It felt like it was
The
written by a
action
man.
could have been and should have been much better. Like, anybody else would have made these action scenes pop, and instead, like, clearly Simon Kinberg doesn't know how to direct the action scene to save his life.
And what was with those digital fucking disturbances that they would do when a hit would happen? You ever notice that? Like the digital camera shake and the digital camera push and shit like that? It's like once or twice, okay, I'll give you. But like they use this fucking effect like 80 times throughout the whole entire fucking movie.
This should be the start of a fucking franchise, to be honest with you.
They kind of set it up for that, and it's like
no.
baby girl,
like even before we got to the end, halfway through, I was so bored. I was just, and it was a scene where the ladies are just standing around plotting their next move, and just watching them and seeing all this talent and charisma on screen just being wasted. I'm like, this motherfucker should be a franchise, and in different hands, this could have easily been a fucking franchise.
And like this, like the story beats, everything was fucking telegraphed. Like the twists and shit like that. And
the only thing I can say is Sebastian Stan was a motherfucker. Like, I wanted to see him get his comeuppance. Like, he played a good villain. That's all I can say.
Right. And honestly, like, it didn't really become interesting to me until the execution.
Oh yeah, because that was foul. That was real foul.
Yeah, like when they execute, all right, it's like, okay, all right, that was gonna happen. What's gonna happen is, oh, you fucking punked out. You fucking punked out.
This fucking movie, man.
This feels like Netflix. This feels like worse than Netflix.
This is what the Bourne Identity is as a microwave meal. This is a microwavable Bourne Identity.
I wouldn't even give you microwave. It's not even like a Hungry Man.
It's like the kid cuisine.
Right, there you go. It's Sketties.
Yeah, SpaghettiOs.
Canned Sketties. And like there's so much talent on screen, but you wouldn't be able to tell. Like the only reason you can tell that there's talent on screen is because you've seen what these people have done before.
You're a producer on this. How did you not put your hand? Like, you're a Hollywood powerhouse now. How did you not put your foot down at some points and be like, yo, what are we doing?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. They trusted Simon Kinberg to pull this.
Stop giving this motherfucker money. Stop giving this motherfucker projects. Simon Kinberg should now be you. Let him be a producer. Just let him be a producer with no creative say. Because he's been a producer of creative say and has killed some projects because he was being petty.
It's paint by numbers action movies. Like, okay, they gotta go in the subway, and there's a foot chase, and then there's motorcycles, and then they gotta be on a dock.
It is, yeah.
And triple cross.
I can say the only thing that puts this over Snake Eyes, and I mean this by barely, and I mean barely, is that the main characters, you understand, they're likable enough. They lack personality. They lack character development, but you get it. Whereas Snake Eyes was the fucking bad guy of his own movie. Like, that motherfucker, there was nothing redeeming about Snake Eyes at all.
Right. He did not become the hero until the end of the movie, and it's just because...
Yeah, he felt guilty.
Like,
he felt guilty because he was a piece of shit.
Right. I want my money back. Like, I've never said that
I'm
before,
all for female-fronted espionage films like this, and they did one that came out in January, which I thought got unfairly shitted on, and I loved it. It was The Rhythm Section with Blake Lively and Jude Hall. That movie was excellent.
That's on my
queue. I like that movie.
Is it good?
That shit should have been a franchise. It's based off of books too. Like I don't know what people, when that got shitted on, I was like, what do you guys want? This is like a mid-tier adult thriller, man, that has some good action. Like, this shit here, I was just like, bro, it is so like unoffensive, and by that I mean like it feels like it's trying to please everyone and no one.
Right. I mean, it's definitely made by committee, and it's like, this is what ladies like. That's what it felt to me. Like it's ladies
the
would like to see
Gunpowder
this
Milkshake effect, where it is a feminist action film done by dudes.
And I'm not saying dudes can't write women, just not the dudes that you're getting.
Yeah,
to
because
write
I
with
heard
it.
that movie Kate with Mary Elizabeth Winstead that came out on Netflix in September is like these two movies where
Right.
it's just like, okay, sure.
Right. It was like, all right, well, lady action films.
And there's a lot of talented female screenwriters out there. Like, come on, man. Like, in the day and age where you have Chloe Zhao doing Eternals and fucking Patty Jenkins doing Wonder Woman, like, yo, there's no excuse now. There's just no excuse.
Right. We need someone like they try. Like honestly, Charlize Theron tried with Atomic Blonde.
Yeah, and I've realized that that first John Wick was all Chad Stahelski, and David Leitch is just he's all right as a director. Because clearly Chad is what is
right
the dude.
Right, but yeah. So the 3-5, and I love how I hate how they finally explained the 3-5-5 at the end of the movie.
It was a code name for a woman during the Revolutionary War. Yeah.
Right. Who was, a spy, but unknown spy. So they called her, Agent 355.
And you know what, man?
Ooh.
I thought this was going to end with them forming a new thing at the CIA called the 355.
I thought or like some rogue, like they would just be like a rogue group that went around fucking shit up for the patriarchy or some shit like that.
The female A-team, and
right, like the A-team.
It wasn't.
Right, it was just like, all right, we're gonna go back home now.
Damn it, man! This should have been like a slam dunk. You know what I mean? Like I could see why this got dumped at the beginning of January, like first weekend in January. Happy New Year! Here's this.
Right. Here you go. Hey, ladies, don't say we didn't do nothing for you. Here you go. Is an action movie with some dames in it, doing dame shit. They got skirts and high heels and jewelry with cameras in it.
Yeah, wasn't Jessica Chastain running in heels in the Paris?
They were all running in heels for one, like
it was like Bryce Dallas Howard in Jurassic World, how she was running in heels.
And let's talk about I can't remember the character's name, the main, Jessica Chastain's character. How about she is a marksman only when it suits her? Like how like she's fucking shooting lampposts and motorcycle wheels and shit like that, but she can't hit a dude running at 30 feet away. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, that's why I call it plot convenience. That's why it's called
you set her up at. No, but I'm just saying, like, we deserve better. You set her up in the first 5 minutes of seeing her as like the baddest hand-to-hand combat chick, right? And then she barely gets into that boring ass fist fight she has.
Ladies, because nobody else is gonna do it, I'll do it. I apologize to all the leading ladies in this movie. All of you have carried movies before. All of you have been nominated for awards before. All of you have been great. And seeing you all in an action movie together, y'all deserve better. Like, y'all deserve a better action movie. Like, I understand women have been saying this for years, that they want to cut loose and get dirty like the men do and do their own stunts and do their own fights.
Right.
Ladies, y'all deserve better than this. Like, I wish this made a little more money so it could get a sequel and somebody else could do it. Because I feel like if somebody else did a sequel, it would have been 10 times better.
Netflix or one of the streaming services, pick up this IP, put some money into it, put some talent behind it.
Yeah, man, this is y'all. I apologize to y'all. Y'all deserve a franchise. Like this is fucked up. Yeah, that's fucked up.
This was supposed to be it.
And it's easy because, again, they're shoving the message. It could have been done well, but the feminist message in this movie is so ham-fisted and just shoved down your throat. It's just.
I'm surprised the end of the movie didn't end with like sisters are doing it for themselves. Yeah. Like.
All right. Yeah. That was episode 34.
Peace out, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts. Scouts.
We're the Film Blurs. I'm Brandon Norwood, and I'm the motherfucking protagonist.
I'm the protagonist.
I'm Jeff Stewart, a.k.a. He Who Remains.
Don't come at us. It's just fucking movies.
You've been listening to the Film Blurs Podcast.
Man, I just love what you guys do, man.
I never miss an episode. It's the best.
It's my favorite podcast.
Follow Jeff on IG on MindFireXL and Brandon on Twitter at BJN Tweets.